Hello everybody out there in the bookverse, it's Stephanie, and today I'm going to be doing the mid-year book freakout tag. Now I am really excited to do this tag even though I'm a little bit late. I was going to do it in June, but then I just really wanted to be able to finish June so it could actually be mid-year when I was picking the books, which I know, it's ridiculous, like I get that. So here I am doing it, and I am really excited because I've been loving watching other people's video. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Thank you so much for watching my videos. If you'd like to see more from me, definitely hit the subscribe button down below and the bell icon so you'll be notified when I post new content. But let's get into the tag. The first question is, what was your favorite book of the year so far? And for me, that is definitely The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. This is an epic high fantasy book. It follows multiple perspectives, and it is this magic system that's based on like gemstones and storms, and also just like different talisman that you can have or maybe not. It is so complex, and this world is amazing. There was a king who was assassinated, and now they are all just fighting this war trying to avenge him against these people or creatures that they don't know hardly anything about, and it is just amazing. It's so good. The characters in this book are amazing, and I absolutely love them. Some of my new favorite characters are in this book, and I would highly, highly recommend this to anyone who loves high fantasy. It is just perfection. It's really long, so if that kind of freaks you out, maybe, be sure you're in the mood for a long book before you jump into it, but this is my new favorite book so far of 2020. The second question is, what is the best sequel that you have read so far? And for me, that is going to be The Winter of the Witch by Catherine Arden. This is the third and final book in the Winter Night trilogy. The first one is The Bear and the Nightingale. This is a Russian folklore-inspired fantasy that follows a girl named Vasya who can see spirits, and so sometimes she is considered to be a witch, and she doesn't like doing girly things. She likes being outdoors and running and riding horses and kind of being wild, and that also is not seen as ladylike, so a little more of a witch, and she just kind of struggles with those things. It's kind of a coming-of-age story for her, especially in the first book. The second book kind of changes settings a little bit, and we get a little more into the politics of it. And then this third book just like pounds you right in the heart, and it has an amazing setting and atmosphere, and there's a part of it that I am just so in love with. And I don't want to tell you too much about it because it is the third book, but this is such an atmospheric series, and it is so well written. And if you think the first book is a little slow, push through and get to this one because it is so amazing. I absolutely loved all of them for sure, but people do complain that the first book's a little slow, but this one is so worth it. You should definitely work through and get to it. So yeah, this is my favorite sequel that I've read so far this year. The next question is a new release that has already come out that you want to read. And for me, that would be The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin. I was so excited for this book when I found out that it was coming out. I put it at my #1 to buy list. I was so pumped for it. And then the pandemic hit and things just got thrown off. I didn't get it until like a month or two after it was released. And then, I don't know, I just was in a reading slump and I didn't get to it. And I don't know why I haven't gotten to this book yet. I really would love to read it. I don't exactly know what it's about. I think it's about a city and different gods, potentially, of the different parts of the city that help it to become the city that it is. I think it's an urban fantasy, and I love N.K. Jemisin's writing. She is one of my favorite authors, and so I'm hoping that I will absolutely love this as well, but I don't know when I'm gonna get to it. It kind of got pushed back, and now it's not on any of my lists, so I need to make this a priority and make it happen. The next question is my most anticipated release for the second half of the year, and for this, it's definitely going to be Rhythm of War by Brandon Sanderson. This is the fourth book in his Stormlight archive, the first one being Way of Kings, which I already mentioned at the beginning of this video. I am really excited for its release. It's supposed to be released in November. I am just so pumped for this book. This is an amazing world, an amazing series, and I just can't wait. I can't wait for it. The next question is my biggest disappointment so far this year. And for that one, unfortunately, I am going to have to go with Emma by Jane Austen. I read Pride and Prejudice and absolutely loved it. It was one of my favorite books. I loved the romance. I loved everything about it. It was so good. And then I expected to love this one just as much, and I didn't really like the main character that much. She was okay, but I didn't love her. I didn't really like hardly any of the characters, to be honest, except for the main love interest, Mr. Knightley, who I loved. I think he's amazing. He might even be better than Mr. Darcy, but since I didn't like Emma that much, I couldn't love this book that much. I think I ended up giving it either 2 or 3 stars. It was just kind of for me, unfortunately. So this was a huge disappointment. I had such high hopes for this book. Next question is what it was your biggest surprise. And for me, that was 11/22/63 by Stephen King. Going into it, I was really excited to read it. I was very intrigued and I didn't know what to expect because I'd never read anything by Stephen King before and I didn't know if I would like his writing style, and I loved it. I thought it was such an amazing book. It was so interesting and fascinating. I was really invested in the plot. Characters weren't my favorite, and it was a little bit slow for me. It drew you in. You just had to know what happened. You had to know how it was going to end up. And I think that was one of the most gripping books that I have read. It's one that makes me have to finish it. There was no way I could DNF that book, even if I wasn't enjoying it, because I had to know how it ended. And that was a big surprise for me, and I absolutely loved it. So that was something that I wasn't expecting to love quite as much as I did, but I was pleasantly surprised. The next question is new favorite author, and I don't think this is going to come as a surprise to anyone. That is Brandon Sanderson for me. I have been reading quite a bit of his books this year. I read his Mistborn trilogy, I read Skyward, I read Way of Kings, and I am loving everything that I have read from him. He is an amazing author, and I think it's so cool that he lives really, really close to me, actually. So that's awesome, especially once all these restrictions for going out have lifted, because he does like book signings and he does like release parties and stuff here around where I am, so I can go to all of these things, and it's absolutely amazing. So yes, Brandon Sanderson is so cool. Like, I just love him. He's awesome. The next question is kind of hard for me. It is, who is your newest fictional crush? And I honestly don't get that many fictional crushes. It's just not something that I do. I can be really invested in a relationship and I can love the person that they're into, but it doesn't feel like a crush to me always. But I guess if I had to pick one, I might go with Morazko from The Bear and the Nightingale, the Winter Night trilogy. I really like him. I actually absolutely love him. He is amazing. And if I were to crush on someone in a book, probably going to be him. It was great. Like, I enjoyed that romance. It was excellent. Next question on this is, who's your new favorite character? And I really think I'm going to go with Sazed from the Mistborn trilogy. I loved him. He is just the coolest. Oh my gosh, I love Sazed so much. I want him to be my friend and I just want to hang out with him all the time. Honestly, there were times when I was almost about to bawl because I was like, he's gonna die. Like, this is gonna be the worst. So I absolutely loved Sazed. If you have read the Mistborn trilogy, let me know if you love him as much or if I am just like this crazy obsessive person. Next question is a book that made you cry. So honestly, I did a reread of The Hunger Games this year and I cried a lot, which is crazy because I am pretty positive that I did not cry that much the first time that I read those books. I am almost 100% positive that that didn't happen. And I bawled during parts of it. It was insane. It's like maybe because I was already so invested in the characters and I already had connections with them that it didn't like feel like I was creating those connections while these things were happening. I don't know, but I cried a lot during that reread. It was weird. I've never cried that much in a book ever, I don't think. Maybe Harry Potter. Maybe, yeah, the last couple books of Harry Potter got me good too, but that's not my answer. Hunger Games. Next question is a book that made you happy. And for this, I'm going to go with Wondersmith. This is the second book to Nevermore. It is a middle grade series that is just so adorable and sweet and good and happy. And there's like dark and scary things that happen in it, but I just love it. I am so invested in Morgan and her little friends that she has, and I love Jupiter and I love the cat. I just love everything about that series. It makes me happy to read it and I cannot wait for the third book to come out. That's another anticipated release. The next one, Hollowpox, I think is what it's called. The next question is the most beautiful book that you purchased this year. And for that, I'm gonna go with Master of Sorrows. This is by Justin T. Call. Haven't read it, have absolutely no idea what it's about, but I bought it purely because of the gorgeous cover. Like, this is beautiful. I love it. I love the foiling. Like, it's just stunning. This was a cover buy. I picked out some beautiful covers and let my husband pick the most beautiful one that I would buy, and this one won. I hear it's actually a pretty good book. I've seen it on some recommendations at bookstores, so I am very excited to read it. But yeah, it was a total cover buy for me. Like, the gold foiling, it's pretty. And the final question in this tag is, what book do you need to read by the end of the year? And I have a few for this. I have a couple series that I want to get caught up on or finish out. And that, of course, is going to be the Stormlight Archive. Next one is Words of Radiance. And I want to finish Words of Radiance and Oathbringer before Rhythm of War comes out. So I'm very excited to get to reading these. They're all pretty thick, so I'm thinking I'll like read this one in August, and then maybe the next one like September, October, and then when Rhythm of War comes out in November, I'll be caught up and I can just read it right away as soon as it comes out. If you can't tell, I'm very excited. Another series that I would like to get through is the Robin Hobb's Realm of the Elderling. I need to finish the third book in the Farseer trilogy, and then I want to read all 3 books in the Live Ship Traders trilogy? Live Ship Traders trilogy. This is for the Elderling Along that's hosted by Becca over at Becca in the Books, and I am wanting to read along with it because I've had so much fun with these, and I love doing the live shows, and it's just a whole ton of fun. So I will link her channel down below if you want to go check her out. And another book that I figured I would just throw on here that isn't part of a series that is all the way out is House of Earth and Blood, the first one in the Crescent City series by Sarah J. Maas. I'm really excited to read this book. It has a gorgeous cover as well. It's beautiful. So I am pumped to get to it. It's also thick. I feel like I'm picking a bunch of thick books, setting myself up for a lot of reading, but I am excited about this one. It's kind of like a paranormal romance type thing, I think, but I don't know. People have been absolutely loving it, and I want to jump on the bandwagon and read it too. So that is the end of the mid-year book freakout tag. If you made a video, please link it down below so I can go watch yours as well, because I absolutely love these tag videos. And as always, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more from me, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.